Almost there. Chapter 20, Tiana. This could not be happening. This could not be happening. This is a disaster, Tiana said. She'd promised Rudy Davis and the All-Stars. If she went out there and told the crowd there would be no show, they would rebel. Even worse, they would never come to her restaurant again. This was the kind of thing that could ruin T&J's supper club reputation and make the success they've achieved short-lived. In the few months since they've opened, Tiana had learned just how difficult it is to run a restaurant in a city known for its cuisine. Serving great food was only a small part. If you alienated your customers, you could easily spend their dollars somewhere else. And this was supposed to be their weekend. Now just stay calm, baby girl, James said. He put an arm around her shoulders and gave her a gentle squeeze. He leaned into her daddy's comforting embrace, wanting nothing more in this moment than to soak in the support he provided. But she had an emergency on her hands. She couldn't just stand there doing nothing. I have to figure out a way to fix this, Tiana said. People are expecting dinner and a show. The way little Johnny described it makes no sense, Addie Mae said. Why would only the instruments burn up? That's what I don't understand either, Tiana said. It only makes me wonder if it was intentional. My friends can show you what real smoke looks like. Was this Fusilier's doing? Had he sized his friends and Rudy Davis's band just to get back at her for not wanting to add his latest potion to all her dishes? How can T&J's have a Mardi Gras celebration without a band? Addie Mae asked. People are going to be so disappointed. Or they're going to go down the street and listen to the Shiny Walter band, Carol Ann said. Tiana whipped around. Where's Shiny Walter playing? Smoky Joe's over on Rampart. I heard folks talking about it earlier. Tiana quickly tried to come up with a backup option, but she couldn't call on Louie and the rest of the crawfish crooners. She'd given them the night off, and they were surely all scattered around the city. She walked over to the swinging door, nudging it just wide enough to observe the crowd. She fidgeted with the top button of her dress as her eyes scanned the packed dining room. Tiana was relieved to see so many cheerful faces. People were enjoying their food, and everyone seemed to be having a grand time. But how long would that last if she went out there and informed them that the band everyone had come to see tonight would not be performing? That no band would be performing. Trepidation tiptoed up and down her spine, the feeling of dread escalating as each second passed. As she looked over to the crowd, she caught sight of Charlotte's blonde curls at her favorite table near the stage. Naveen was there with her. Naveen! You can't ask him. But Naveen was the only musician here, and when he'd played for the crowd the night before, everyone seemed to love him. She'd promised her patrons dinner and a show. What choice did she have? This is what you get for making promises, Tiana whispered to herself. She sucked in a deep breath and slowly blew it out, then pushed open the kitchen door and headed straight for Lottie and Naveen's table. Tiana did her best to quell the butterflies that instantly began to flutter around her stomach as she drew closer. Hi, Lottie. Naveen, Tiana said as she came up upon their table. She cursed her voice for shaking. Tia, everything looks so beautiful tonight, Charlotte said. But where's the band? I'm ready to dance. Well, that's why I'm here. She turned her attention to Naveen, her breath catching in her throat. It was hard to believe that, at one time, she'd found him annoying. She would gladly put up with his exasperating habits if it meant they could still be together. But you can't, so get on with what you came here to do. Tiana swallowed deeply, then allowed the words to rush out of her. Rudy Davis and the All-Stars instruments burned up on the fire tonight, and they won't be able to make it, so can you please play your trumpet for the crowd, Naveen? Oh, goodness! Lottie's hands flew to her chest. Is everyone okay? I think they are, Tiana said. But of course, they can no longer perform tonight, so I have no way of contracting Lewis. I would if I... Yes, Naveen said. Yes? Hope surged through her. You'll do it? Of course I will, Tiana. There was something about the way he said her name, the way it rolled off his tongue, and that lyrical way he spoke. If she didn't know any better, Tiana would have thought the Shadow Man had taken away her ability to speak. She was transfixed by the subtle hint of longing in Naveen's hazel-colored eyes. The butterflies returned, but Tiana didn't try to suppress them. She didn't want to, because this flutter was filled with excitement and yearning and all those feelings she tried so hard to ignore this past year when it came to Naveen. For one brief moment, Tiana allowed herself to just feel. Thank you, she finally answered. her voice again catching in her throat. Anything for you, he said. Before Tiana could respond, he grabbed his trumpet and climbed onto the stage. Good evening, good people, Naveen greeted the crowd. I trust everyone is having a great time tonight. Have you tried the jambalaya? He rubbed his belly and licked his lips. Fantastic! Rousing applause and calls of hear, hear reverberated around the restaurant. Now I bet you're wondering, what is this guy doing up here, eh? Where's Rudy Davis? He hunched his shoulders. Well, unfortunately, there was a bit of an incident with Mr. Davis's band. They won't be able to make it. Disturbed murmurs began to hum throughout the dining room. But never fear, Naveen continued. You will get a great show tonight. That is a promise. He tipped his trumpet to the crowd, brought it to his lips, and opened with a rousing rendition of an old Fats Waller tune. Before Tiana knew it, she was swaying back and forth with the rest of the crowd. Her distress from a minute ago, a thing of the past. He really was charismatic. She glanced around the kitchen and caught sight of her mother and father dancing just outside the door, her heart nearly bursting at the sight. Naveen sure is good with that horn, ain't he? Lottie asked. That he is, Tiana said, bringing her attention back to the stage. Thank goodness for that. He saved me from what could have been a catastrophe. You know, Tia, Lottie said, her voice taking on a teasing tone, Naveen really likes you. Now, don't tell him I told you that, because he's trying to take things slow, but y'all are moving too slow for me. There is no y'all when it comes to me and Naveen, Tiana said. But there could be. What do you have against him? Tiana closed her eyes. Lottie, please, you know I don't have time for romance, Lottie sing-songed. Yeah, I know. I'm not saying you have to marry the man, Tia. You can spare an hour for coffee, can't you? I think it would do you some good. Tiana watched as he belted out a slow ballad to the trumpet. She wouldn't give to sit across the table from Naveen in a quaint cafe in the quarter, laughing, joking, just enjoying his company. Was that too much to ask? Would that violate the terms of the bargain she'd made with Vasilier? Did relinquishing her love for Naveen mean she couldn't have any dealings with him whatsoever? What if it wasn't just her and Naveen on a date? What if there were others around and she and Naveen just so happened to meet up? Her eyes still fixated on the stage, Tiana said, The annual neighborhood picnic crowning the King of Zulu is tomorrow on Congo Square. Me and Mama and Daddy take part every year. We start early in the morning and it lasts all day long. She glanced over at Lottie. Why don't you join us? She returned her eyes to the stage, hesitating only a moment before she added, And bring Naveen with you.